Hey guys, if you remember from way a while back, maybe a month and a half I think, I was doing a beginner guide to WoW, like class creation and stuff, and pretty much just the basics of WoW, and where I left off was I was pretty much just talking over what each class was. So figured I might as well just pick up there, and like I said, I already do have part 1 up. I'll put a link in the description I guess if you missed it. And it's pretty much, it's not too in-depth, but it's just basically getting you guys to start, so it doesn't necessarily have to be that technical and stuff. So, like I said, just getting you guys started in WoW. Okay, so let's go over the warrior. I started this one, and I kind of just cut in between cut it off in the middle of it. So I'm gonna go over it again. So the main roles of the warrior are to be tank and be the DPS, and they wear plate armor once they're level 40. I don't know if that changed because a while back a lot of the stuff changed, but I think it's still level 40. But they also wear mail armor, so up until level 40, I believe it is, you're still wearing mail, and you have 3 different stances to choose from, and each stance specializes in a type of combat. One is the battle stance, which is like your main stance, and that's gonna be pretty much your arms DPS, which is pretty much your heavy hitter. It's your one-hand weapon spec, and you're basically just gonna be doing a lot of damage with like the big weapons, like the big axes. You can see my guy's holding one. And then the next is the defensive stance, and you're gonna be holding pretty much a sword and a shield, just taking damage and tanking stuff. So, not too much there on the defensive stance, just pretty much taking damage. And the third stance is Fury, and that's your two-hand DPS stance. And it's kind of like a rogue, but it's like a higher hitter. And but seeing as though you can use two-hand weapons, you're going to be doing slower attacks. So you're not going to be hitting as often as a rogue, but with the one-hand spec, the one-hand specialization for Fury is not that good, but um, it's still a good spec. But most people prefer the two-hand spec. So yes, that is pretty much your breakdown on the warrior. Next up is your pally. They can do all 3 roles, which is tank, healer, and DPS. So first off, just like tank, you're gonna have a special set of spells and stuff just for tanking. And next, pretty much healer. You're just gonna be doing lots of healing. And with 4.0.1, pally healers, well, all healers in general, became super overpowered. So healers are definitely really fun to play. So I wouldn't recommend a healer as your first WoW class, but definitely keep healers in mind. Like maybe make a class that can do heals and DPS and tank. I don't know, just kind of test which one you like better. Me personally, I like healing better just because it's fun to tank 3 people and never even get close to dying or running out of mana. So next up is DPS. Pretty much you're just going to be beating people up with usually two-hand weapons. So I really don't know anybody that uses one-hand weapons to DPS. Next up is the hunter. For hunters, you get a pet. As you can see in the background, there's a big-ass grizzly bear. I don't even know if that's grizzly bear. I don't know the difference. But you mainly stay out of the combat and just kind of sit back with your gun, bow, or crossbow and shoot the shit out of the bosses and mobs and stuff. And if you're playing on your own, you pretty much have your little tank in the back, which is going to be your pet. And each pet is like a different kind. Like there's DPS pets and there's like tanking pets. I don't think there's healing pets. I don't know. There might be a pet that like, I don't know, maybe it like absorbs damage for itself. But people are probably thinking I'm totally retarded right now, so whatever. Anyways, so hunters pretty much just stay back while their pets tank if they're on their own, or they are pretty much just a DPS class. And they wear leather until level 40, and then they wear mail. And as you can see, they are good at leveling and soloing, so they're definitely a good class to start out with. Next up is Rogue. Rogues tend to be kind of confusing. At least I think they're somewhat confusing. But rogues are very fun to play, and you're gonna dominate at PvP if you know how to play your class right. And I personally hate getting ganked by rogues because they kill you in like 2 seconds flat. They just stun lock you until you're dead, which is very annoying. And their source of like attacks and stuff is going to be their energy. And you get 100 energy, that's like your base, but you can increase that to 130, I believe. And you can build up to 5 combo points. And they're going to be wearing medium armor, which is leather. And they're pretty much just DPS. Next up is Priest. They're healer and DPS. So they have a discipline spec, which is pretty much like, I'm pretty sure it's their PvP spec for healing. Don't get me wrong, I do play Priest, so you guys probably think I'm extra retarded, seeing as though I don't know my own classes. um, but that's kind of what I saw it as. I think it's better at healing for PvP, and Holy's better at PvE. Then there's Shadow. Shadow's pretty damn good. I like Shadow. It's good at both PvE and PvP. And pretty much you're gonna be using mana just like every other healer, and keeping people from dying and stuff. And you wear cloth. And my chair's squeaking. I don't know why. So next up is the Death Knight. Death Knight is the most overpowered class, and you have to be level 55 to play them. And you start at level 55, and Death Knights are douches. So I don't really have to go over them right now because, like I said, you can't play them until you have at least one character level 85. So let's go ahead and go to the Draenei because the Mage and those people are all blocked off. So Shaman. Shaman, for the Alliance, only one race can play them as of now. But for the Horde, I think 3 races. Yeah, 3 races can play them as of right now. But Cataclysm is out in 2.5 weeks or something like that. So more classes will be able to play those. So Shamans are mainly healers and DPS. I know some enhanced Shamans that can tank. So, I don't know. Shamans are really fun to play. I like playing Shamans, and I don't recommend them as your first class, but maybe your second. Depends how fast you pick up the game and stuff. So, you basically use totems, which is going to be like your main specialization, which is going to increase your damage and stuff by a lot, and like restore your mana and stuff faster. And you can enchant your weapons with special spells such as like, I don't know what it is, but it like is a fiery weapon sort of enchant, which like basically increases your DPS and stuff, and it does periodic fire damage and stuff. And you wear leather and mail, and you sometimes wear shields, or you can dual wield. And your main source is like nature shit. Yep. Next up is Mage. I love mages. Mages are really fun. Whether you're playing like Arcane, which is pretty crappy now, or Fire, or Frost. Those are really fun specs to play. I personally like Frost just because it's better for PvP, and as of now it's the best PvE spec, I believe. And basically you're just going to be using magic, which you would figure a mage would be doing. And you can teleport people and stuff, like in any other game that you can play a mage and use magic and stuff. And you can like conjure stuff, which is like basically creating and stuff. And you're pretty much just a DPS, and you're going to be doing a shit ton of damage, because mages right now are pretty damn overpowered. And my mage is pretty undergeared, and I'm topping meters, so that's something to say. Mages, I definitely recommend them as your first class, but then again, if you want to really have fun, I would wait until like maybe your 3rd character to play, and then start to get the hang of what's it called? AoE grinding your way up to 80, because that's definitely fast and fun. So definitely check that out. Next up, we're gonna go to Warlock. Warlock, they are very fun. As you can see, he has a little imp, and you are pretty much the badass mage kind of guy. And you can summon demons and stuff, and your demons are super duper duper overpowered. Not really, but your class is super duper uber overpowered. I don't know why I'm saying super duper uber. I don't know. It's kind of a word a phrase I just invited into my life, like this very second. And you use soul shards and stuff, and you use curses and stuff, which are like dots, which is damage over time. So like it's gonna be ticking every 2 seconds, I think it is, maybe a second. And you also like do a shit ton of damage, and you can fear people and stuff, which is very useful in PvP and whatnot. So last but not least is Druid. Druids are probably the most fun class, and I probably recommend them as one of your first classes, just because you can do tank, healer, and DPS all at the same time. And you pretty much can like transform into like bears and cats and like airplane, no, birds. Yeah, you get this crazy thing called a boomkin. It's like this gigantic laser chicken that shoots laser beams out of its eyes, and goes pew pew and kills stuff. But anyways, as you can see, you shapeshift into animal forms, and you can fill a healing, tanking, or DPS role. And you use all sorts of things like mana, rage, or energy, depending on what form you're using, of course. And they wear leather armor, and they're very, very fun to play, like I said. And yeah, I just kind of went over what is to play and what is to do, and anyways, kind of a little overview of all the WoW classes, and kind of what I think of what WoW classes you guys should choose and stuff. I didn't really say what to choose except for this class sucks, this class is overpowered, and this class is fun. But it's up to you guys. Just I guess you could read these things down here. They kind of say what you can do, but kind of go back and see what I said, because those can be taken into consideration, and depending on what you like that I said, can pretty much help you choose what your first class is going to be. So this was part 2. Part 3 will come soon. I don't know what I'm going to do for part 3, but I'll think of something. I might not release until Cataclysm, just because Cataclysm is going to totally change the game. And everything's going to be weird. And another thing I've thought of is a Let's Play, like just recording everything I do level 1 through 80, or 1 through 85, if Cataclysm comes out before then. So if you guys like that idea, let me know. And hope this guide helps everybody beginning WoW, or people that need some, I don't know, guidance. Well, that was cheesy. Whatever. Alright, so this video's gone on long enough, and you guys are probably bored of my voice, because I'm a boring guy. So see you guys later.